So you may interrupt me if I didn't say anything like for you to understand. Please interrupt me, I will repeat again. Okay? And prior to my visiting to my friends in Armenia, I knew that I would probably meet you, and that's why I've met with some homosexuals in Armenia to hear about their problems, to hear how they perceive the situation there, and to pass to you. This is not my main job as with you. This is not my primary focus of my social activities. But I want to be as much helpful as I can. And I'm working mainly in human rights. My public activities include human rights protection, which are dealing mainly with army and with the police. But one of the first signs of homophobia which exists in Armenia, I will tell it is beatings, widespread beatings. Like if anybody who beats homosexual, that means that he's he's a kind of hero. Like and it is very much like supported in the society. Okay, you bet them, that's it, great. And the same is about thefts. If I'm stealing, yeah, widespread stealings. Like if somebody took a mobile from you, great. Like, that means that, in other words, like society is supporting that. It should be in somehow like accepted as negative thing if somebody is stealing. But no, if you are stealing that from gay, you are okay, and it is very good. Like you are doing that, and people are in constant personal humiliation from the side of neighbors. One of the guys with whom I was speaking, he was telling that about a year, every day when he was going out of his house, every time he got stones on his back. I can't imagine how it could be once or twice, but every year, every day when he's going out from his house, he was getting those stones. So apply and say, you know, I was humiliated and etc. based on homophobia. And so
well, you mean there is no article against homophobia?
Written about homophobia. And so the state cannot give any statistics based on that. So nobody can tell how many people were humiliated and based on homophobia. So this is very important. And the main suffer from the medical sphere is the lack of privacy. Like in Yerevan, if somebody would go to the hospital and the doctor would know that he is a HIV person, for example, that means that immediately either medical staff would know about that, or even worse, more people would know about that. If I'm talking about the outside of Yerevan, the medical offices outside of here, the situation is much worse. For example, there was a case of a 40-50 years old man who was a HIV person, and his family was forced to leave Gyumri at all, because everybody knows about that he is a HIV person. Sexual harassment from the side of faculty, which the students cannot tell. So, for example, there was a case the guy was forced to leave the university because he was harassed by the lecturer, by his rector, like the head of the faculty. And also about labor sphere. Many people would force homosexuals to leave, and many people would not let them to enter the work. How? Because, say I am a boss, if my subordinate is a gay, for example, people would think that I'm also gay. So it would be better for me not to have himself in my office, for example, from coming. There are some cafes which, even if there are some, say, tables which are not occupied, somebody would enter there, they would tell that no, we have no place here, please go out. And he can't do anything, like he cannot quarrel on that, because the boss of this man who is fostering that. So there was a lot of advocates who would refuse to deal with homosexual people at any kind. But I know one of the prominent human rights activists. She's very prominent. She's very like she's fighting for human rights, and she refuses to deal with homosexual because she thinks that it should be out of them. and also psychological assistance. Many people who were applying for psychological assistance, psychologists would told him, you know, this is you have a disease, and this disease should be healed. This should be recovered from you. So together we will recover this disease. So this is the main psychological assistance which the people would get. But now, as soon as the NGO is opened and some community is more closed and more open to each other, then this issue is step by step is resolving, starting to be resolved. I would like to talk about police. Mostly in recent years it was widespread when people were going to the police, like people were taken from the streets, usually at 12 o'clock, they were taken from the streets, brought to the police, beaten and raped there, or only beaten, or beaten and raped, this is, and then thrown away. Like nobody would tell something about that. Even more, they are telling, if you would somehow be like against us, we will call to your family, we will call to the office where you work, we will call to everybody, and to that. Aside from that, plus to that, there is money. Like, bring us so much money, or we will talk about that to your neighbors. So, and that would be the end. If, say, somebody in the office would know that he's, for example, gay. So, in jails, according to some people who told me, they told that there is now paid prostitution in the jails, which means that there are homosexual people who are being paid for giving the services. Either they are giving their part of money to the jails administration, I don't know, but I can guess yes, of course, because they allow them to. And what is worse is that Red Cross was trying to bring condoms to these people because HIV is very widespread in the jail. But the head of the jail doesn't allow, as soon as he couldn't admit that there could be any type of relationships between people, between males. What is that? Article 6b allows people who are under that article to be exempted from the army. But mostly, when homosexuals apply to this article, they are writing there the duality of personality, like or schizophrenia. So you cannot be exempted from the army if you are homosexual. But as soon as the medicine workers working in this committee who is deciding accept them or not, know that he is homosexual and know that it would be a very bad situation for him to go to army, even he could be killed. And the army, and for army it is also bad. It is like they become to agreement to count him as the person with mental disease like schizophrenia or duality of personality and let him free. And it could happen that man is exempted from the army because for all his life, or he should go there and every year be tested, like be checked by this medical commission. Once you are getting this article on yourself, that means some limits on visa. You cannot get visa. You cannot get card license, for example. You cannot occupy higher positions in some governmental or other offices. Public awareness campaign is needed, like pressure from diaspora is needed, and cultural change, we need cultural change. What?